It's possible that a super drought drove the settlers from their homes in search of a water source. But where did they go? Now, archaeologists have a fresh new take on the one clue we know for sure they left behind. A single word carved onto a gatepost. Croatoan.
The Roanoke colony, often referred to as America's Lost Colony, has fascinated historians, archaeologists, and the public for over 4 centuries. As the first English settlement attempt in what is now the United States, its mysterious disappearance in the late 16th century has long remained one of the most enduring puzzles in American history. The cryptic word Croatoan, carved into a post, was the only clue left behind when Governor John White returned in 1590 to find the colony completely abandoned. Now, after 440 years of speculation, a groundbreaking discovery on Hatteras Island, once known as Croatoan Island, has brought new clarity to the fate of the settlers. A long-standing mystery revisited.
International team believes they may now know what happened.
Well, that's right. The leaders of this team say what they've found is very exciting and very convincing. Now, there are a lot of competing theories about what exactly happened, and the team working on Hatteras Island believes there's enough proof to show that's where at least some of the colonists likely went.
Since John White's haunting discovery of an empty settlement in 1590, theories about the Roanoke colonists' fate have ranged from starvation and slaughter to assimilation and escape. For decades, no physical evidence emerged that could definitively explain where the settlers went or what happened to them. But that changed when archaeologist Mark Horton of the Royal Agricultural University began a decade-long dig on Hatteras Island in collaboration with Scott Dawson of the Croatoan Archaeological Society. The goal was to investigate the long-standing theory that the colonists had moved south and integrated into the Native American population already living there. The team began by studying middens, or ancient trash heaps, used by Native Americans on Hatteras Island. These sites, often rich with cultural clues, turned up something extraordinary: hammerscale. These tiny iron flakes are a byproduct of blacksmithing, evidence of ironwork that Horton insists could only have been done by English colonists at the time. Native American communities in the area during the 16th century did not have the technological means to produce such remnants. This singular clue immediately set the site apart from any other linked to indigenous communities of the era. Stratigraphic analysis confirmed that the hammerscale lay beneath layers of soil dating back to the late 1500s, placing it precisely within the window when the Roanoke colonists would have arrived. Horton explained, quote, "This is metal that has to be raised to a relatively high temperature, which of course requires technology that Native Americans at this period did not have." In addition to the hammerscale, the team found a trove of other English-made artifacts, fragments of guns, styluses, nautical fittings, even glass beads and wine goblets, intermingled with native objects, suggesting not a brief visit, but a period of sustained habitation. This groundbreaking find has changed the way historians and archaeologists interpret the Roanoke mystery. Instead of imagining a grim fate for the colonists, death by disease, warfare, or starvation, the evidence now paints a picture of survival, cooperation, and assimilation. It suggests that the settlers didn't vanish, they simply became part of a new community, blending their lives with those of the Croatoan people. The clue in the rubbish heap.
This is the famous Cape Creek site on Hatteras Island. It's an incredibly important Native American site, and the suggestion is that this is the place where the lost colonists came to.
Horton and Dawson's use of rubbish heaps as archaeological gold mines may not sound glamorous, but it turned out to be the breakthrough strategy that cracked open the mystery. Known as middens, these piles of discarded food, tools, and other remains of daily life are often overlooked by treasure hunters searching for gold or skeletons. Yet they offer a more vivid picture of how people actually lived, and in this case, who lived together. On Hatteras Island, midden layers revealed a curious blend of English and native artifacts, an engraved slate next to a carved shell bead, a stylus alongside traditional pottery shards. The presence of hammerscale was crucial. Found embedded within undisturbed layers dating to the late 16th century, these flakes could only have come from the English colonists. No native groups in the region had access to or knowledge of forging techniques that would create hammerscale. Horton explained its importance by stating, quote, Hammerscale is what comes off a blacksmith's forge. It's definitive proof of ironworking at that moment. The flakes weren't scattered randomly, but were concentrated in specific zones, indicating dedicated working areas rather than incidental trade or dropped objects. This evidence supports the theory that at least some of the colonists moved to Hatteras Island and continued aspects of their English lifestyle while living among the Croatoans. The integration wasn't superficial, it was structural. Iron tools were repaired, weapons were maintained, and domestic objects like glassware and ceramics were used alongside local equivalents. The trash heaps thus served as time capsules, preserving evidence of a blending culture that spanned both English and Native American worlds. Perhaps most intriguing was how consistent the archaeological evidence remained across different excavation sites on the island. The same types of English goods kept turning up: brass items, iron fragments, bits of European-style cookware. These are not isolated incidents, but a repeated pattern, suggesting that a sizable group of colonists had joined the Croatoan people and lived with them long enough to leave behind a distinctive archaeological footprint. All of this points to a far more hopeful end for the Roanoke colonists than previously imagined. Rather than being wiped out or scattered, it appears they built new lives with the Croatoan, raising families, forging tools, and surviving long past the point history had declared them lost. Croatoan, the only clue that mattered.
Croatoan is an island just 50 miles away from Roanoke. It's now called Hatteras.
As far as the Native American history on the island, they have always maintained that a group of white people came here and assimilated. They were instructed to write down where they relocated to, and they wrote down that they came here, so it seems like an obvious place to look.
When John White returned to Roanoke Island in 1590, he found a settlement abandoned but not destroyed. The word Croatoan carved into a palisade post was the only clue left behind. Historians had debated its meaning for centuries. Did it mean the colonists moved to Croatoan Island? Did it signify something more cryptic or desperate? Horton and Dawson's work now strongly suggests the colonists did indeed go to Croatoan, modern-day Hatteras Island, and left the message to point that out. White had instructed the settlers to leave behind a message of their whereabouts, and unless under duress, they were to avoid using symbols of distress like a cross. The absence of such signs indicated the move was planned and voluntary. Yet White never got to investigate further. Bad weather and a lost anchor forced his ship to leave before they could make contact with the Croatoan. That missed opportunity may have cost history centuries of speculation. The simple carving of Croatoan has taken on legendary status. It's been referenced in horror stories, TV shows, and paranormal fiction, but it now appears the settlers meant it quite literally. It wasn't a haunting mystery, it was a breadcrumb, a practical, unpoetic, but incredibly human note. We've gone here. And now, with the discovery of English blacksmithing byproducts and other artifacts on Hatteras Island, the message takes on new weight. Additional oral histories recorded from the 1700s offer further tantalizing support. One account mentions native people on the island with blue or gray eyes, an anomaly unlikely to occur without European intermixing. Another described memories of elders who could read from books and speak of a ghost ship sent by a man named Raleigh. Such fragments, while anecdotal, gain new credibility when paired with hard archaeological data. The convergence of that one word, Croatoan, with both tangible evidence and long-held oral tradition now seems less like a mystery and more like a map that was waiting to be followed. Artifacts tell a new story.
When you start looking elsewhere, you see it on the 9 and you see it on other letters.
That does have the look of a drill.
It is true, yeah. That reminded me of this S that I was working on with the drill. Right there, the S.
That S. You made this with a drill?
Yes, drill, 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 all the way through. This is the one I made this morning.
Look at that.
Right?
That looks shockingly similar to the Aberhart stone.
Aside from hammerscale, the variety of artifacts unearthed at Hatteras Island suggests a far more complex and enduring relationship between the Roanoke colonists and the Croatoan people than imagined previously. Among the most fascinating are European glass beads, parts of guns, a stylus, and wine glasses, all of which were dated to the late 16th or early 17th century. These items weren't found in isolation, but were often interspersed with traditional native tools, pottery, and ornaments. The blending of cultures offers a profound reinterpretation of the colony's fate. Instead of tragedy, these items tell a story of survival and adaptation. The colonists didn't disappear, they evolved into something else entirely. Now it's time to hear from you. What do you think truly happened to the lost colony? Let us know in the comments section below.